Welcome on in, everybody, to the New England Patriots Week 1 post-game stream. As the title, as all of you watched yourselves, the New England Patriots did lose at home yet again to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, some really interesting storylines in this game, heading into the game, obviously, before the loss, is that the Raiders, we touched upon this during Rob and I's last stream, but the Raiders have never won in Gillette Stadium in franchise history. So the Patriots were not just trying to set a new narrative for the 2025 season, but they also had history to protect. If you think about it, they had to defend their home field against one of the only teams that has never won in Gillette Stadium. Unfortunately, that's not exactly how it went today. But the New England Patriots also, as unfortunate as this is, based off of last season, are the worst team in the National Football League at home. That's why when head coach Mike Vrabel was hired, one of the big points he hit upon was, one, we want to take advantage of bad football teams. But two, he also said that we want to win at home. That was a big emphasis, a big talking point for him straight off the bat. Had an opportunity to do that in week 1. But that is not what happened. The New England Patriots lose by 7 points, 20-13 against the Raiders. There was a lot of up. There was a lot of down, guys. We are going to break down everything that happened. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to go position by position, offense to defense, to give you a complete analysis on what happened here. But, Rob, my initial thoughts on this was that it felt like a momentum switch. And I don't want to say that the New England Patriots necessarily beat themselves, but there were certainly a lot of times in which we did. This game was winnable, and I want to make that clear. This wasn't a game that the Patriots had no purpose of winning. This wasn't a game that, the Raiders were just clear, far and out, the better team. The Patriots could have won this game, but it was the most inopportune penalties, missed throws, turnovers, the same BS that we have seen over the last 2 years that killed this team in the second half. You look at what happened during the opening drive for the Raiders. The Patriots win the coin toss. They elect that they want to defer, get the ball to start off the second half. The Raiders drive down the field and immediately get into the end zone. First play was a 26-yard reception by Brock Bowers. The next play was a run to Ashton Genty, who got about 10, 11 yards, and they were just cutting the Patriots up all day. Patriots get on offense. They do nothing with it. It's 3 and out. They punt the ball. But on the second defensive drive for New England, Jalen Hawkins gets an interception. And it felt like after that, the momentum switched. The Patriots on defense were balling out. The Patriots on offense were balling out. They went into halftime with a lead over the Raiders. The Patriots come out, get the ball to start the third quarter, and we said they're up by 3. They have an opportunity right now to go up by 10 and feel confident about where they are in this game. They're driving down the field. They look good. They're at about, halfway, roughly, in halfway down the field. And what happens? Drake Maye gets pressured, throws off his back foot with pressure in his face, throws an interception. And it felt like once Drake Maye threw that interception, he didn't look the same. The play calling wasn't the same. The offense didn't look good. And the defense also didn't look good. People say that football is a game of momentum and how momentum switches. And if anybody wants to know an example of that, I think that this game is a beautiful example of that, because you have the Raiders who go from all the momentum to Jalen Hawkins' interception. Patriots have all the momentum to then the Drake Maye interception in the third quarter. Now the Raiders have the momentum. And unfortunately, the Patriots were just never able to regain that momentum to win this game. 3 sacks in the first half, 1 sack in the second half. Rob, we're going to really break it down, but just initial thoughts. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
My initial thoughts are that there's a lot of missed opportunities. It really was. When you go look at the time of possession, when you go look at just about every stat you could probably bring up and you go down the line, we're pretty much matched up with them across the board. It's just that they were able to execute in big moments and we weren't.
I mean, yeah, that's really what it came down to. And I see that we have a super chat. Shout out to my boy S27, first super chat donator in today's stream. He says, Drake Maye looked worse than Mac in 2023. And I don't agree with that.
Such an asinine. I seen that all over my comment section. Stop being knee-jerk reaction, guys. I know we are upset that we lost, but do you know how bad Mac Jones was in 2023? Come on.
Yeah, Mac was pretty rough, but like Mac Jones in the first like 2 games was actually pretty good. But then it got to a point where Mac was throwing like ungodly interceptions, throwing off his back foot, couldn't complete a 15-yard pass because he didn't have the arm strength. Like Drake Maye didn't look bad. Like if you take away the interceptions and putting the ball on the ground, and we're going to break it down here in a minute, but if you look at the turnover worthy plays, and you take those out, which obviously I know they're part of the game, but just enlighten me for a second. You take those away. Drake Maye didn't play a bad football game. Yeah, there were times that he was overthrowing guys, but the real reason we're talking about Drake Maye in a negative light was because of that interception, was because of that momentum switch. And it wasn't a perfect game for him. And we'll bring up the numbers here in a second, but I certainly wouldn't say that he was Mac Jones. Like Mac Jones was so bad that Bill Belichick didn't talk to him all of the 2023 season. He got benched by Bailey Zappi, who I don't even know if Bailey Zappi is still in the league. I think he's a free agent right now because he was released by the Kansas City Chiefs. So like, I understand he didn't look good. I understand we have PTSD, but also, guys, things are not supposed to look the way that Tom Brady made it look for 20 years, where it's clutch plays and, every single pass is automatic. Like
that cannot be the standard, dude. That cannot be. That cannot be the standard. We had too lofty expectations. This kid is still 22 years old. Joe Burrow lost last year, and then the Bengals took steam. But it like week 1 is not the determining factor of the whole season, people. Because what will happen is, well, if we win next week, these same people that are being negative will come in here whistling a different tune. It's like you really find out what does Belichick have said in the past, that you don't really find out what your team is until Thanksgiving, right? We're still like exactly. How much did you see Stephon Diggs not be on the field today? Like he was like, they were kind of just like easing him into it. Like there are things that are still. Kyle Williams had 1 catch in like the 4th quarter. Like there's still things that need to be, the kinks that need to be worked out. That's not making an excuse for how we performed today. But like, let's stop with the over exaggerated knee jerk reactions.
Yeah, I wouldn't overlook what's going on here with Drake Maye just yet. I don't think it's time to do.
Oh no, that was.
It's just week 1, right? Like it's just week 1. There's going to be time for him to get better and iron these things out. I thought that before the interception, like a whole half of football for the most part,
he playing
looked pretty damn good. He looked pretty damn good, but it's just the concerns we have. The big concerns with Drake Maye are those interceptions. Can he limit those? And again, we're going to talk about the quarterback position here in just a second, but want to get to you guys super chat. Shout out to S27 though. I do understand some of the frustration given the PTSD Patriots fans have at quarterback, but maybe we should just pump our brakes a little bit before we say that, we're done, with Drake Maye. Just remember that the thing with Drake Maye when he was drafted was that this guy has a low floor, but he has arguably the highest ceiling out of all quarterbacks.
Can I just point something out real quick? Geno Smith went to like 3 different teams. Okay. So you really want to give up on Drake Maye already and then have him go to another team and then take off? Come on. It's literally, if you want to be real, this is like his real true season, because he was behind the worst offensive line in football, worst wide receiver core, rookie head coach, rookie at DC, OC. It was crap. It was just crap. And now he has something consistent, and now you want to give up on him. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up on him just yet. I think if Drake Maye can limit those turnovers, then I think we start seeing a different team, and I think we just start having a different discussion. But before we get into Drake Maye a little bit more, and we just break down the stats and what we thought of him today, big shout out to Joey, our guy Joey. $10 donation says preliminary PFF pass protection stats on 54 snaps. Campbell allowed 2 hurries. Wilson allowed 4 hurries and 5 pressures. Bradbury was clean. How about that? Bradbury was clean. Onwenu allowed 1 pressure. Moses allowed 6 pressures.
Okay, so that's first time I'll put a dollar in the curse jar, because I'm trying not to curse anymore. But Bradbury's getting like blown up. I don't know about clean. So PFF, you're slacking on that one.
Yeah, I guess it determines on what guy originally allowed the pressure, like who on that specific rep, who was it on. And I mean, here's what I will say too, though, is like the interior of the offensive line is going to be tested a lot more as the season goes along. Like the Raiders have good edge rushers. They don't really have good defensive tackles with Christian Wilkins released earlier this offseason. So this wasn't a big test for the interior of the O-line, but we will talk about the O-line, of course, when the time comes. But shout out to Joey for giving us those original numbers, giving us an early insight on how this offensive line looked. But Also, shout out to William, $2 donation, said the run game sucked. They got to run Travion Moore. Oh, don't you worry, William. We're going to be talking about the run game because I do agree with you. I was really, really let down from what I saw today. But Rob, I want to start off here talking about Drake Maye. We touched upon him a good amount already, but I think there is a little bit more to talk about. I kind of want to dive into what his just overall process was from quarter one to quarter four, what led to the frustration from how Patriots fans are currently feeling about him. You look at his overall numbers for today. Okay, 30 out of 46. So that's around 65-ish roughly completion percentage for 287 yards, 9.6 yards per throw, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times, and an overall quarterback rating of 80.6. Obviously, that interception does bring it down quite a bit. Now, like I said, when we started this game, I didn't think he looked great. And Rob, when you and I did our Patriots and Raiders preview, we talked about they need to allow him to settle down when the game starts. Don't go out there asking him to throw passes down the field because he's going to start overthrowing or underthrowing guys. It's not what you want. We know Drake Maye is a bit sporadic until he calms down. And I didn't love what they did. Like, they had him throw the ball a couple of times. They ran the ball a couple of times. But what I would have liked to see was run the ball, set up a screen, something. Like, the first opening drive wasn't necessarily about points. If you could get that, great. That's obviously what you want. But the biggest goal for the first drive offensively for me was just bring Drake Maye down so he's not sporadic with his throws for the remainder of the game. This is the first time that Drake Maye is playing football, really, if you think about it, since the end of the 2024 season back in January. So didn't love that. But after the first drive, then they get the interception, then they drive down the field, they start putting up points. I thought that he was good for the most part. I thought they stalled out times in the red zone. Obviously, we had a missed field goal by Andy Borgales, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But it wasn't until they came out in the third quarter and Drake Maye throws the interception where I thought, okay, this is starting to get a little bit rough. He throws the interception, then he starts to look a little bit stagnant, right? Then he starts overthrowing guys. He starts overshooting guys. He had a couple of balls that were tipped up in the air. Definitely, weren't turnovers, but they were turnover-worthy plays. But on top of the interception, the ball was put on the ground 1 time. I thought Drake Maye in the second half didn't sense pressure really well. He didn't maneuver around the pocket as well as we saw early on in the game. Nobody's going to talk about him getting strip sacked, though, because Will Campbell ultimately did recover the football. But then there was another point in the fourth quarter where Max Crosby comes up, and he also looked like he strip sacked him, but Drake Maye, luckily, was coming forward, so it was forward progress. It was an incomplete pass and not technically a strip sack, but nonetheless, multiple times where it could have been a lot worse in the turnover game for Drake Maye than what really showed up. So what were your thoughts just overall on Drake Maye today?
I don't know if I was watching the same. I thought he looked pretty good. Up until that interception, he looked pretty damn good. He was accurate. Yeah, he sailed a couple, but it's a sloppy game. It wasn't exactly the most perfect conditions, which is why you've seen all these other things, all these across the board happen. But like you said, man, I wish sometimes he overlooked the easy play and tried to go for the long play. Maybe he needs to start, he's still learning as far as I'm concerned. We just got to stop jumping to wanting him to be there already. And not even just him be there already. There's so many things that have to happen with this offense, and everybody's learning new offense. I don't mean new players that are on this team. So it's not even just Drake Maye, not whether or not he did well today. When you have people in your face all game, because the offensive line started to really get beat up in the second half. When you start, that's kind of the culmination of what was starting to happen. His pocket wasn't as clean. So then now he's having to throw the football off his back foot and make uncharacteristic plays, because that's kind of what he was reverting back to what he was before. But that's what he's going to need to learn. Hey, listen, when the pocket's muddied, I need to figure something out and not put the ball in harm's way. Because let's be honest with ourselves, those cornerbacks for the Raiders, they're not good. I don't care what happened today, they're not good. And we should have capitalized on that. That's everything in totality. That's a Josh McDaniels vanilla play calling today. That is Drake Maye not taking the easy. He took a lot of the easy throws, but then he made some of the difficult throws that we should. You don't need to.
Yeah, I feel like after he did throw that interception, I don't know if this was on him saying, okay, I've had bad turnover problems last year. Now I turn the ball over again in this game. I need to be more careful. I cannot turn the ball over again. And I don't know if that's when he started to take the check down or if Josh McDaniels was in his ear after that and said, all right, we need to reel this back a little bit. We need to be more conservative because before that interception, it felt like their foot was on the gas. It wasn't running the ball, running the ball, running the ball. It wasn't simple check downs. It wasn't throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage expecting some type of positive play to come out of it. It actually felt like he was targeting his playmakers. He was targeting Kayshon Boutte down the field. He was targeting Hunter Henry down the field. We started to see a little bit there of Stephon Diggs also. We saw Pop Douglas early on in the game, but then it's interception and it's run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, check down to Ramondre, check down to Travion Henderson. And that's when this offense started to stall out. So again, I mean, I would assume that's more on Josh McDaniels than it is Drake Maye. And I understand after he throws the interception, you feel maybe he's a little sporadic. You want to reel him back in. But the answer for reeling him back in isn't to just keep the offense held bent, isn't just to run a vanilla offense. Because if you look at the Patriots drives, and I actually do have this pulled up, but the Patriots' first 3 drives coming out of halftime when they had that 3-point lead consisted of punt, interception, punt. Also, if you look at the Patriots' entire second half, there was only one time that a drive for that offense did not end in a punt or a turnover. And that was the final offensive drive for the Patriots in the game where they were able to drive down the field basically in garbage time anyway because they were down by 10 and they were able to end their drive, not even in 7 points, but they ended in 3 points, meaning that there was only one time the Patriots attempted to get points out of the entire second half. And that was on the final offensive drive, down by 10, essentially in garbage time, where you got 3 points. It's not good enough. And that is in large part because they decided to go vanilla after Drake Maye turned the ball over. I mean, did you notice that they stopped, for the most part, it felt like they stopped going away from their playmakers?
I mean,
it felt like Kayshon Boutte wasn't really targeted. It felt like Hunter Henry wasn't really targeted.
Speaking of Kayshon Boutte, and I think this is kind of an alarming quote that he had, I just think we all really got to be on the same track more. I just feel like we could have had more energy going into the second half. So this is not only just like them being on the same track, the energy was not there. So this is week 1, people. Like, they need to have the energy. There's no excuse as to why you don't have energy. Whatever, you got to rah everybody up on the sideline. But this was the difference last year of the Bengals missing the playoffs, losing to us. So like you can't overlook every game. Yes, there's always live to another week, but every game matters. It's no longer the preseason. We can't be missing energy now. We can't be playing vanilla play calls, Josh McDaniels. Like, we need to really start to tap into that. I get he's going from a cup to a bucket, but like at the end of the day, I don't mind taking risks. I don't care. Just like unload the offense.
What I will say too, and I'm trying to look for the comment, but I do agree with this. It does start with Drake Maye. We've seen that Drake Maye is a leader, and that's
I'm not disagreeing with that.
That's part one. But with Kayshon Boutte's quote that you just listed, right? Who is the guy that is supposed to bring this team together? Who is the guy that is supposed to set the tone for the energy? It's Drake Maye. And I'm not saying like, oh, this is all his fault or anything like that, but you threw the interception. Like you are ultimately the reason that this team did feel a little bit deflated for really the entire second half after that INT, because the momentum, like I've been saying, switched. So you need to be the guy after you make that mistake to go to the sidelines, be proactive. What would we see from Tom Brady? The best example of this, Rob, and I know it's an obvious one, but it's the first one that popped into my mind, Super Bowl 51. You are down 28-3. Brady's not on the sidelines. He's not there like, he's not there, with a little like nodding to Josh McDaniels on the sideline. What is he doing? He's there. He's focused. He's mentally prepared.
Laser focus. How many? We heard it.
Sideline screaming, laser focus. Let's get this one. He's telling them to just focus on the upcoming drive. Everybody is down in the dumps. The entire team is down in the dumps. They feel like the game's over. They have no momentum. They have no drive. They need something. They need someone to gravitate towards. And that is what we need from our quarterbacks, because I do believe Cam Newton did provide some of that energy in 2020, but really arguably since Tom Brady, outside of Cam, like we haven't had that guy to rally the troops around when things get bad. And guess what? It's football. It's gonna get bad. Even when you had the GOATs and Brady and Belichick, again, you were down 28-3 in the Super Bowl. But what separated them, what allowed us to come back and still be in that game, was the fact that you had Brady on the sideline, keeping his guys in the game, in the place, keeping them motivated, even when the entire team had the life sucked out of them. And that's what we need to see from Drake Maye, because guess what? You're going to throw interceptions. You're going to have turnovers. You know the style of quarterback that you are. You need to be on the sideline doing everything possible to keep your team pumped up, because I agree with this. After that interception, I swear I did not see anybody smiling. I didn't see anybody pumped up. There was an entire half of football to still be played, and one interception dictated how the rest of the game was going to go for this team, and that's not how it can be. We saw that for far too long with Drake Maye, or excuse me, with Mac Jones.
Yeah, no more pouting. I don't know, man, because when we go look at like how was it Drake Maye's basketball coach going in high school saying that he was a killer. Like, where is that person? Can we tap into that person? Because I one thing I loved about Brady, I hate to compare him to Brady, because this is a 22-year-old kid that's still trying to figure it out. And he will, or he may not, whatever. We're still going to keep cheering for this team. But for right now, what it is, if he's really got that killer instinct, is he waiting for some type of like, does he have to be here long enough to like really kind of like yell and scream? Because I want to see someone that's going to really rip someone's heart out, because we knew what Brady was. He would go to you, talk shit to you, and then rip your heart out and feed it to you. And you're right, man. We haven't had that. And Cam Newton even showed a little spurts of that. But Cam Newton was kind of washed at that point. I want to see this kid really like, and he's going to need to get I think he needs to get to string some wins together. And that's when he's going to really, you may see the real Drake Maye, but it's not going to happen if Josh McDaniels is calling. Like, I don't know what the hell the play calling was like that. What the hell was that?
I just look at this team right now, and I don't know who is gathering the team together on the sideline when things go bad or when the team is down and rallying everybody together. Is it maybe Stephon Diggs? Is it maybe Matt Collins? Maybe, but like, even if those guys are going to be your rally around me type of guys, and they need to be playing in the game more also, which we didn't see from those guys. But ideally, you want it to be from your young quarterback. And again, when you have quotes like that from Kayshon Boutte, who went out and balled today, look, don't talk about it, be about it, Kayshon. Like, you can also be that difference maker, but we're all expecting that guy to be Drake Maye. I don't want Drake Maye to always be this like professional, like suit and tie, like, yes, I hear you, like, yeah, let's do this. Like, I want you to speak out. I want you to show those emotions. I don't want you to pout on the sideline and cry on the sideline, but I want you to let your team know that there is still hope and that you have somebody to rally around, because again, football is so much more mental than people give it credit for. The mentality that you go in with is essentially what you're going to
be
play
a killer,
with.
man.
I just feel like this team has played with such low energy for so long, and today it felt the same way. I mean, again, you had the Jalen Hawkins interception, and that defense was playing lights out. They were playing aggressive, and I think that translated to the offense. But then after that, there was no energy, and you just saw no urgency with this team, and I think that was a big problem. But Rob, before we get into the running backs, I do want to hit on Josh McDaniels and the play calling a little bit, because it is obviously something that we do have to touch upon, how players were utilized too. To me, I liked some of the play calling. There were things that I did really like. And look, that's Josh McDaniels. We know Josh McDaniels. With Josh McDaniels, you're going to love some of the play calling, and then you're going to hate some of the play calling. For example, it was, I want to say 4th and 1, and it looked like they were going to like quarterback sneak it. But then you had Travion Henderson tossed to the outside and he gets a first down and more. Like, that's what I like to see. I thought that we saw a little bit of extra motion than we're used to seeing. I thought that we saw some, like, not necessarily trick plays, but some like misdirection plays rather.
I liked the quick game. I really liked the quick game. You kept the defense of the Raiders off balance, but then we went away from it. I was like, what the hell are we doing? You did what kept us in the game in the first place. You went away from it.
Yeah, what I really didn't like too was, again, after that interception by Maye, is just that the play calling got super vanilla. And vanilla play
Look, Josh McDaniels did this with Mac Jones his rookie year, brother. Like, he did this. He put the training wheels on. Stop. Take the damn things off. Take them off. Like, Matt, look,
vanilla play calling isn't necessarily terrible.
It's not terrible, but like,
if you have the talent, but we don't have the talent on offense to be able to make up for vanilla play calling. And again, you saw the effect that it had. I just didn't understand why, when we're down in this game in the second half of football and there's no momentum, you need some type of play, why we are doing check down on the outside to Ramondre Stevenson, check down on the outside to Travion Henderson. We're throwing the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage, expecting that there's going to be some type of big play that comes with it. Like, no, you saw when you were driving down the field, when you were piecing together drives, that came when you were actually pushing the ball downfield. I'm not saying 20, 30 yards down the field, but you would have completion somewhere between 10 to 15 yards to Booty, to Hunter Henry. And we just didn't see that. And it got to a point where in the second half, the Raiders did make adjustments. I thought that they did start to double team Hunter Henry. But the great thing is that you have Austin Hooper, another guy that balled out for this team last year. And I just felt like they didn't utilize him. Okay, if you're going to double team Hunter Henry, we know that Austin Hooper has that ability too. And Drake Maye loves his big body targets in between the numbers, especially his tight ends. So why not give Austin Hooper more opportunities at that point when you see Hunter Henry's getting double teamed? I just thought that there were better ways to combat this than just, we're going to run Ramondre Stevenson up the middle, when he's averaging like 2 yards per carry. But now and then we'll switch it up and we'll check the ball down on the outside of Travion Henderson when there's two defenders around him and you know he's going to get at best 2 yards.
How hard is it to put two people in the backfield and do an option play with May? Like, I'm being serious. You tried defending that. I just don't get, where the hell was Pop? Like, how are we utilizing him? What the hell was that? He had -2 yards, and the only reason he even had anything substance is because he got the goal line touchdown. But like, I don't know if that's to blame him or to blame Josh McDaniels' vanilla play calling. I felt like Alex Van Pelt was back there for a second. I was like, what are we doing? Why is it that it's so passive? The problem is you can't play this. This is not 2009 anymore when you can get away with it because you have, I don't know, a decent O-line, because we have a lot of what ifs on the offensive line. You got two rookies on the left side of the damn offensive line. And then Morgan Moses, he's old, and it's a lot of it's a lot of new. Back then you could do that because it was continuity and chemistry. You can't do that crap anymore.
Agreed. I do want to get into some of these super chats too, but Rob, I feel like this.
I'm sorry, I'm getting animated.
Rob, we love that. This is what this is for. Be yourself. If you guys don't want suit and tie, right? If you guys want suit and tie, you'd probably be watching ESPN instead. That's what's great about Patriots Global.
Y'all enjoying this?
Boss, baby. I'm my own boss, so we can be.
Can we get a thumbs up in the chat if y'all are enjoying this?
Oh yeah, for real, guys. If you guys like the shows, you got to give it a thumbs up. The more thumbs up we see, the more we know that you guys want to see these every single week. But shout out to my boy SGT Moonshine, $5 donation, said, for a little positivity out of this game. By the way, thank you, SGT Moonshine. I think we could all use a little bit of that. Harold Landry was great. 2.5 sacks.
He was phenomenal.
3 tackles for loss. Also, by the way, was definitely a standout in my opinion. SGT Moonshine, we are definitely going to be getting to the defensive side of the football. But Harold Landry, for me, I'm going to say this early on. Harold Landry,
player of the game,
might have been the player of the day.
Yeah, 100%.
On Booty, but might have been the player of the day. Most consistent guy, in my opinion. But we will definitely get to that. Thank you for the positivity, though. I think now and then we could use a little splash of like, well, at least that went right. But shout out to D. He says, why is Mac Hollins getting so much playing time? Shaking my head. I feel like Mac Hollins really didn't get a lot of playing time today, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I think we should see more playing time for Matt Collins, in my opinion, because
if anything,
Matt Collins showed that connection already.
If anything, he drew that PI that kept the drive alive. I mean, if not for that, we wouldn't. Wasn't that the drive that we scored the touchdown?
That was on. They went for it on 4th down, and the only reason that we converted was because it was like hands. It was pass interference, but it was like a little soft.
Ticky tack. You could have gone either way with that.
Ticky tacky, but like,
let's be honest, probably wasn't passed.
I thought his hands were all over Matt Collins' face on that play. Like, I could see why you would call it, but like,
They're both
worse before and
handsy.
they haven't called it. Yeah. So, but whatever, we got it. I'm certainly not going to complain, but I think Matt Collins should actually play more. I think the reason we didn't see as much Matt Collins in this game was because you're playing Kayshon Boutte a lot, because Kayshon Boutte's balling in this game, and Matt Collins and Kayshon Boutte essentially serve in the same role. So it's kind of hard to get those guys on the same field on the field at the same time. So I think that's why we didn't see a lot from him, but I would like to see more of Matt Collins, in my opinion.
If I'm being honest, I don't know if I would send Matt Collins deep. I would try to do shorter routes and have him box people out. He's 6'4", dude. He's huge. And he's got really reliable hands too.
The other thing too is like, and I'm not trying to get away from myself because I think we should transition to the wide receivers and then we'll get to the running game. So I'm not trying to transition to the running game by saying this. It's just a point I'm making because it's in reference to Matt Collins. Is he's also a really, really damn good run blocker. He might be the best run blocker on this team. And so with that being said, for a running game that struggled big time today, if you want to improve on that, get better blockers on the field. Okay, well, Matt Collins is one of those guys that can help you block. So maybe a way that there is still some potential on how this running game can still improve a little bit. But Rob, let's continue on with these wide receivers before we get into the running game, because Kayshon Boutte, like we mentioned earlier, did have one heck of a game today. You saw exactly where he picked off from last year. And we saw these flashes from Kayshon Boutte ever since he was drafted. Let's not forget that coming out of LSU in the beginning of 2023, he was a first-round projection. Then bad combine, terrible season. What happens? Football's what have you done for me lately? He goes all the way down to the 6th round. Patriots got a steal. He made some.
What was it, plantar fascia?
He made something like that. He had like, what was it? He had those 2 plays against the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023, but he couldn't keep both his feet down. He was in the doghouse the rest of the season. This past year in 2024 was Kayshon Boutte's real opportunity to show what he got. What happened? He was the number 1 wide receiver all year. Not to get it confused, Kayshon Boutte is not a number 1 wide receiver, but he was our wide receiver 1 given last year's offense. Today, balled out. And you see why Kayshon Boutte needs to stay. Adam Schefter reported during draft time that Kayshon Boutte was a guy the Patriots were shopping. You got to keep Kayshon Boutte around because he has that chemistry with Drake Maye. If Drake Maye, needs to hit a guy in stride, if he needs to get the ball out quick, he can get the ball to Kayshon Boutte and understand that those guys are going to be on the same page and think about the same thing. Kayshon Boutte today was tied for the most targets. It was between him and Hunter Henry. 8 targets, 6 receptions, 103 yards, 17.2 yards per reception, long catch of 24 yards. I thought that he had a really good game. I just wish that, honestly, I wish we utilized him a little bit more in the second half. When we were struggling as much as we were, go to your playmakers. Because, yes, they were double-teaming Hunter Henry, but they can't double-team all your playmakers. There's going to be times where at least one of your guys, Henry, Diggs, or Boutte, one of those guys is going to get a one-on-one matchup. And at some point, you got to just kind of test those guys and trust those guys. Kind of wish we saw them a little bit more in the second half. But what are your thoughts on Boutte today?
I thought Boutte was by far the best player on the field. Like the best player on the field. I really, truly did believe that. He did phenomenal. I can't. Reliable hands, got you out of third downs, and just he's easily our wide receiver 1 right now. Like I don't get, for me, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't get the mystique or the people that go crazy about Pop Douglas. I don't. I really don't. I don't see what everybody sees. He had -2 yards today. I don't know if we're just not utilizing him correctly, but like at this point, like him being on the field today was just, he was in the way. So like either that or we're not utilizing him correctly, because Kayshon Boutte was balling the hell out. Hell, Stephon Diggs, who just came on board, did pretty damn well today. So at this point, are we I know we're talking about Boutte, but are we really utilizing Pop Douglas correctly?
No, we could talk about the wide receiver core like as a whole. So I think that's a good transition. When I look at Demario Douglas, yes, statistically,
I don't see the hype, dude.
He was given opportunities. He was targeted the 3rd most today, right? Like we said, Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry, both tied for the most with 8 targets. Then Diggs and Pop Douglas were tied for the 3rd most there with 7 targets. But unfortunately, Douglas, 7 targets, 2 receptions, -2 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, I do believe that Pop Douglas is a good wide receiver, and I do think that so far they have not been utilizing him the correct way. Let's see end arounds. Let's see him get into space. Like Pop Douglas doesn't have to just be your
He's a
deep
gadget
threat.
player.
He's the type of guy where if you can get him on a slant, he's going to turn a 5-10 yard throw into 15-20 yards easy because of what he can do after the catch. I think, though, that the problem with Demario Douglas and the way and the reason that we're not seeing Drake Maye and Douglas connect as much as they should isn't because Drake Maye doesn't see him. It isn't because Douglas isn't necessarily in the rotation. Again, he was targeted 7 times today, so they wanted to give him opportunities. But I just think the size is a problem because Drake Maye isn't.
I mean, he sailed one over his head.
At a dartboard. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake Maye isn't the most accurate quarterback in the league. Let's just call it like it is. Why does Drake Maye thrive with Hunter Henry, thrive with Austin Hooper, thrive with Kayshon Boutte, thrive with Matt Collins? Because all those guys have size, they're good in contested catch situations, and they have a large catch radius. Pop Douglas is not that guy. He's like 5'8", 5'9". He's really hard to hit. And when you have Drake Maye overshooting some of these taller guys like Boutte, Hunter Henry, and Matt Collins, just imagine how hard it is for him to hit a guy who's 5'8", 5'9". So I think it just comes down to Drake Maye understanding his receivers a little bit more because we saw that connection. We saw that connection this offseason that Pop Douglas was their best wide receiver, whether it was in training camp, whether it was in joint practices, he was their best guy with all 3 quarterbacks, all 3 offensive units, including Drake Maye.
Got the most targets.
I just think, exactly, the most targets. I think that they just need to figure out why, when it comes to in-game, is Drake Maye overshooting him so often and can't hit him accurately because he got that touchdown. Yes, he got that touchdown in the back of the end zone, but Drake Maye also missed him on the play before when he was wide open. Pop Douglas is getting open. I just think that Drake Maye is having a hard time hitting him because of the size difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense?
I agree, man. What, he sailed one over his head. But that's why why don't we do shorter plays with Pop Douglas? I don't see a reason to send him deep. Use him. Who was the receiver Danny Amendola. We didn't really send him deep. We kind of use crossers and like intermediate routes. We didn't send him deep and go crazy that way. But I don't know. I just hope that he can figure it out. I'm happy he got a touchdown today, but like I don't know, man. I just, it's depressing.
It gets to a point where if every single one of your roommates is the problem, then you're the problem. And Pop Douglas is a great guy off the field, but like if he's not getting those opportunities last year,
he got 7 targets today, dude,
or even this year, then at some point you ask yourself, well, okay, why is this being a problem for several different quarterbacks, 7 different offensive coordinators, but the same problem with the same guy is occurring? So I'm not giving up on Pop Douglas. I think he's.
I'm not giving up. Okay, let me be clear. I am not giving up on him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we need to stop looking at him as a fan base like he's our wide receiver 1.
I think
let's get a grip.
Like this massive deep threat. Like, yes, Pop Douglas can get open on the back end.
He's a gadget player. He's a gadget player. Let's be honest with ourselves.
But I think in Josh McDaniels' offense, where it is very short to intermediate, let's give him opportunities short to intermediate. Let's block it up so he has blockers ahead of him. He can do something.
Screens. Like...
Because if we're going to struggle to accurately deliver him the ball deep down the field, let's bring him a little bit closer and then see what happens. I think Pop Douglas is still one of your best playmakers. He is he's not a liability because that's not the word I'm looking for, but he's just a massive mismatch when it comes to man-to-man coverage. And the Raiders played a lot of man-to-man coverage today. Should have seen Pop Douglas get more opportunities, but ultimately that's just not what happened.
But they went man and they started going to zone. So like once they switched to zone, that screwed up our whole offensive game plan.
Well, I mean, Pop Douglas also struggles in zone coverage. He struggles to find the soft spots in zones and sit in them, but man coverage, like he'll beat you all day in man coverage. But shout out to Eric who comes in and says the Achilles heel of the Patriots is a wide receiver's inability to create separation, leads to too many checks downs and forced throws. Also, run the damn ball. Look, if you look at a lot of the plays where it's like, Drake, throw the ball. Drake, go somewhere. Drake, why are you running? Drake, why are you taking the check down? Also, a lot of times when you look back at the actual play, there quite literally was nowhere for him to go. Like there are times where these wide receivers are just simply blanketed, and you got guys on the roster now that shouldn't have those issues, especially somebody like Stephon Diggs. But I do agree that an issue for this wide receiver core for years now, no matter who it's been, has been their inability to get open and create that separation. So certainly something that has to be better, right? Drake can't go anywhere if these guys don't get separation. It's not always trust your guy when you have a defender on the back of your heel. Sometimes it's like, well, no, dude, just get damn open. But that's also why somebody like Efton Chisholm, he's going to get that separation. Somebody like Kyle Williams, he's good at getting that separation. So if the wide receivers you're rolling out there aren't creating, then maybe you should be rolling with the guys that you know can create for you and can create that separation and can be those mismatches, whether it's in man coverage or zone coverage, in Kyle Williams and Efton Chisholm, who obviously was a healthy scratch today.
Maybe you sub out Matt Collins. Maybe you sub out Matt Collins, but then outside of that, what do you do from there? That's our wide receiver core is kind of crowded right now. Like you want people are clamoring for Efton Chisholm, but it's like who do you take out?
Yeah, I mean, you have to take out somebody. I mean, you don't want to take out Kyle Williams. You used a 3rd-round pick on the guy.
Yeah, and at that point, it's like you're kind of like splitting hairs. Like, who do you want to put out, and who you want to put in? Maybe with Stephon Diggs, he's going to get his touches. I see.
Yeah, you definitely can't take out Diggs.
Exactly, because down the line you're going to need him,
and that's going to be a problem if he gets unhappy that he's not getting targets.
So, I mean, at that point, like Pop Douglas wasn't doing anything. So sub him out for Kyle Williams. The moment Kyle Williams got into the game, he got an 18-yard reception. I'm not saying that that's the reason why you sub him out because he got a reception. It's garbage time. But I'm saying that, like, if it's not working, transition to something else, put somebody else out there.
Yeah, I agree. But
I mean, what is, I'm sorry for cutting you off. What is Josh McDaniels' offense has always been?
Vanilla.
Not just vanilla, but like adapting to your situation. So like if you know someone it's not working with this person right now, you have another different type of receiver that you could have gone to. That's just my point.
It's fair. So let's transition into Stephon Diggs, though, because I think that's the guy that a lot of Patriots fans were looking for today. Early on, I think we're all asking ourselves, where in God's name is Stephon Diggs? Finally, they set up a screen for him. It felt like, and I was worried about this, that it's like, okay, yes, he physically is able to play. He's not injured, but this is going to be one of those situations where, like, you got Vrabel and you got McDaniels just easing him in over the next few weeks and not playing him a lot because they want to make sure he's okay. Like, at some point, it's kind of like you said, take the training wheels off the guy, allow him to go out there. He's been training his ass off this offseason in order to come back and rehab. If he's not healthy, you'll see that. And I think he'll also tell you because he's not going to put his career at jeopardy for the 2025 New England Patriots. So allow him to go out there. You brought him here for a reason. And I feel like when they finally allowed him to go out there and they gave him those snaps in the second half, he started to produce, right? 7 targets. You see that Drake Maye does want to go his way. We saw that in training camp. 6 receptions, 57 total yards, 9.5 yards per reception, which is what you expect from Stephon Diggs this season with the Patriots, and a long catch of 16 yards. He's not that big deep threat like he was in Buffalo. He's not going to be that 1,400-yard guy. He's not going to be the guy that's averaging, like 15, 20 yards per reception, but he's going to average somewhere between 8 to 12 yards per reception. And I think that is realistically what you're getting from him. And I thought that there were a lot of times where Drake was giving him opportunities through contested situations. And pretty much every single time that he went Diggs' way, he was reliable with the football, right? Like there was no time where I was like, Diggs, you got to have that. Or, oh, I can't believe Diggs just dropped the football. No, like realistically, every time the ball was accurate enough, Diggs was coming up with the catch, being that security blanket. Unlike a lot of other times that we saw in this football game, there were times that Drake Maye is going to wide open receivers and those guys are dropping the football. I mean, one of the first passes of the game, he goes to Pop Douglas up the middle of the field and Douglas drops the football. So I think when you see Stephon Diggs today, you see the ways that they want to utilize him. You see the plan, you see the vision. I just think it comes out to, all right, now that we're heading into week 2, take the training wheels off him a little bit, allow him to be a vocal point of your offense, because the fact that he's been dealing with this injury and he already comes out being tied for your second most or third most wide receiver in this game and puts up 57 yards, like you see the potential with this connection.
It's not even just that. It doesn't look forced. It looked natural. It looked like he got the ball naturally, like not like he was trying to get him the ball. Like, oh yeah, crap, I got to get Diggs' targets. It looked natural. That's something I can think positive about. I don't know if you saw that. It looked like, and some of the plays that like I think is important is like look where Diggs was like along the sideline. He held his feet like he pretty much held his feet in bounds and then did one of these, caught the football. It's just those high IQ plays that keeps the drive alive. We need to get him now he's got his rust off. Now we got to get him more involved because the Dolphins, I mean, we got to keep these drives longer because we're going to be going against a team that has Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and they got a really fast team. So we can't have 3 and outs. This was supposed to be the gimme game. So now going into this next game, we really got to keep these drives going longer, which means why we got to run the ball more. We do definitely have to utilize our running backs. I get that Ramondre Stevenson didn't look too great today, but you can't just shy away from it just because it's not working. Like, do option plays with Drake Maye. Do something.
I just feel like if we are going to be a dark horse playoff team, and that's not the expectation, but if they can be that, then you can't spend the next month limiting guys that you know are playmakers for you.
Or experimenting.
If you think that Stephon Diggs can be that number 1 guy for you this season, then make him a vocal point to your offense. There's no reason why he shouldn't be a top 3 most utilized wide receiver for this team on any given week. But Hunter Henry, like we said, he also did play a really good game. 8 targets, 4 receptions, 66 total yards.
He's always been his number 1 target.
Average. We all know what Hunter Henry is at this point. I thought Drake Maye hit him in stride quite a few times and was really, really well at it. Couple of balls that weren't the most accurate. So these numbers, even realistically, should be even better than what they're presented as. But any thoughts on Hunter Henry?
Brother, he's like I love Hunter Henry. He's the model of consistency. Like, the guy just, when you need a play, he gets it. Yeah, some of the balls that were thrown to him were not exactly the most accurate ones, but when they were in the vicinity that he could catch it, the guy makes the plays. Like, he really is. He is. I'm happy he's also a captain. He's gonna be a vocal part of this team, and it just, like, moving forward, it's good to have somebody as a safety blanket because that's what we wanted for Drake Maye. We thought it was Pop Douglas. No, it's always been Hunter Henry. So I'm happy that he performed today. But it's as per usual. Are you surprised? I'm not.
No. I mean, you know,
I'm really not
for Hunter Henry at this point. He's not going to be a guy that puts up 1,000 yards for you. He's a tight end, not a receiver. But like, you know that he's going to put up like 6, maybe even 700 yards for you. You know, a few touchdowns. He's going to be that reliable security blanket. But he's also right now the guy that's getting double teamed. Like, if you're a defensive coordinator, you're saying, who am I supposed to take away on this offense? You're taking away Hunter Henry. So someone needs to step up and say, well, if you're going to take away Hunter Henry, now you're leaving me one-on-one on an island, and that's something you also have to worry about. To where instead of double teaming Hunter Henry, maybe now they're playing a little bit more zone. They're playing a little bit more deep, and now you can try to find more of those favorable one-on-one matchups. But, Rob, a lot of people were upset that the Patriots did not run the football more today, okay? Just for reference, Travion Henderson led the Patriots in rushing yards today with 27, which I think says more than you need to know. 5 total attempts for him, though. 27 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, long run of 14 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, obviously your lead back. He gets 7 carries, 15 yards, 2.1 yards per carry. Long run of 6. Drake Maye, 4 carries, 11 yards, 2.8. Demario Douglas got an opportunity on the ground. 1 attempt, 4 yards. And then Antonio Gibson, 1 attempt, 3 yards. So not a lot on the ground today. Obviously, maybe a little bit more of an interesting decision because it was raining. So you think that should have been the game plan. Rob, both of us saying coming into this game that the team that ran the ball the most effectively and efficiently was more than likely going to be the team that ends up winning this game. And that's exactly what happened with the Raiders being the better. I thought that the running game was going to be better than this. I wasn't expecting it to be elite and show that it was top 5 in week 1, but I was at least expecting that it was going to be better than this because the offensive line is going through its transitions and its struggles and its ups and downs with pass blocking. But from what we saw from the run blocking from this O-line in training camp and the preseason, it looked really, really good. And today it did not showcase itself. But one caveat that I also want to put on this is there's a reason the Patriots went away from the run. The run wasn't working. And they got to a point where now you were behind 7. And then now you're behind 10 points. It got to a point where they couldn't run the ball because you're down by so many points that you need to get down the field. You need to have an opportunity to get the football back. You have to compensate for the potential of them even putting up more points. The game got away from them so damn quick in the second half that they couldn't run the football anymore. Not that it was working for them in the first place, but they couldn't run the football anymore. They couldn't be a multi-dimensional offense. The Raiders knew exactly what they were going to do because the Raiders got so ahead that they said, New England, we are going to force you to be one-dimensional and beat us through the air. And that's exactly what happened. What were your thoughts on the run game today?
This is not a team that can play from behind. Like, and if we're gonna have to run the football, did you hear that alarm that just went off? That was like a tornado warning. I apologize if that blew someone's ears up. But yeah, okay, so whatever.
Quality of the microphone, Rob.
I don't believe I had it muted, or maybe I did. Yeah, we were behind. Like, guys, we can run the ball we want, but if we're only averaging like 2 yards to carry. I know you guys want Travion Henderson to be out there, and I seen a comment before saying someone said cut Ramondre Stevenson. Come on, like the defensive line for the Raiders were also doing pretty damn well at stopping us from running the football. So it's like it didn't really matter who was out there running the football. Like, we really weren't generating any yards, and on top of that, like, you don't want Henderson to run the football too much anyways, because like he did at Ohio State, he's a guy that runs by committee. You don't want to wear him down where you try to make him the lead back and then you lose him for the season. Like, he has a history. He had a fracture 2 years ago, I believe. So you want to utilize him in sync with a Ramondre Stevenson. But going back to the run game, like, it was non-existent, but it was non-existent because we were playing from behind. So we really didn't have much of a choice.
Exactly. There was a reason that they went away from the run game.
But if I'm going to be honest with you, if they would have designed more QB run plays or options with Drake Maye maybe doing a pitch like they were doing earlier in the game, maybe that might have been a better option. Instead of going away from it.
Designed run for Drake Maye today, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, we could have utilized that more. I feel like you could have utilized that a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, I feel like you also want to be cautious, though. Like, you don't want to run too many quarterback design runs.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm just saying.
You are putting him in a position to be getting hit more, and that's obviously not what you want. Like, I'm going to be honest, I was not expecting Drake Maye to run as much as he did today. I thought there was times, more specifically early on in the game, where Drake Maye took off before he let the play develop as much as maybe it should have. But I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, moving forward the rest of the season, that is certainly an area that you want to be showcased, is that he can be a threat with his legs, so that a defense has to compensate for that.
What I was impressed with in that whole situation, though, he slid a lot. Like, you could see he was making a conscious effort to not get hit. There was one time he got hit, but I think he was going to, because I think it was like 3rd and long, and we were trying to get the first down. That's why he was trying to get that first down. But other than that, like, he was keeping himself safe. So at least we see that he's developing. I know we're talking about running backs, but like, just in that situation right there, I'm just happy that he was really avoiding contact.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Scully, a Raiders fan who comes in here. $2 Nation says,
"Congrats, brother, on the dub."
Game, Pats fans, man. That's a good Raiders fan right there. There's
Congrats on the dub,
pretty
brother.
Crazy Raiders fans out there. Like, for example, on the AFC West roundtable, I said like 2 weeks ago, I was like to our Broncos creator, I was like, so like, what's going on with Broncos Nation? And I got flamed in the chat by Raiders fans. I was like, well, technically every team is considered a nation. Okay, let's just be clear. So I got flamed for that before, and yeah, but I mean, shout out to Scully,
was it Broncos country?
Good Raiders fan. Yeah, it's Broncos country. But like, every team's considered a nation. Some just switched it up to be coined different. You know what I'm saying? Like, Go Pack Go, even though they're also considered Packer Nation. But yeah. But anyway, shout out to Scully, man. Well-deserved win. You were the better team today.
Congrats.
Took advantage of it, man. Took advantage of it. Now go beat the damn Chiefs. That's all we ask.
It's not even just that. Let me just point out something real quick. I know I don't know why I drifted away from this. Do you know Geno Smith in 2 games against us? The last 2 games against us is 57 for 78 for 689 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah, when he was with the Seahawks last
year. He looks like friggin' Joe Montana when he plays us now.
And it's with different head coaches and different systems too. So I don't know what it is.
I'm sorry. I needed to say that before we got away from it and I forgot. Like, that's crazy.
He cooked us. He cooked us last year, week 2, and he cooked us now, week 1. Obviously not what you wanted. Shout out to Evan, who comes in here, $10 donation. Shout out to my boy. He said Geno Smith threw for 350 plus yards today. So far as I see us going, 5-6 win team this season. New coaches, young players starting. It's a rebuilding process. Certainly a rebuilding process. I do think the Patriots will be better than 5 wins when it's all said and done, but maybe not this 9-win team or even this 10-win team that
probably
some
not.
people threw out the idea that they could potentially be. So, but hey, man, one thing I will say is set yourself up for disappointment, and you'll never be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So that's not
I just don't get. Okay. I understand that everybody's kind of saying, like, I don't know how many people in the chat, like, are you really Patriots fans saying May sucks? Like, it's week 1, people. Like Jamar Chase, what was that one year that he sucked in like week 1, and everybody was like, "Oh, you can't catch, whatever." And then all of a sudden he took off. Like, and then he took off. Like, can we like pump the brakes? Like, let's let this, because this is a real. Kobe, would you say that this is like his real true year as a starter? Because last year he had everything against him. He had nothing that was a semblance of an offense, or not even just an offense, a team. So
yeah, I would certainly say this is his first like real year in New England, and he at least has a competent supporting cast around him. It's not great. Like, you could certainly still do so much better in every single position, but it's at least competent.
Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, people want to compare Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels to Drake Maye. They have Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton. We don't have anything close to that.
I'm trying to think too, how many games did Bo Nix lose last year in the beginning of the season before he flipped the switch? Because he did not look good in the beginning of the season. I remember that.
I don't remember, man.
The Broncos didn't turn things on until the season progressed. That's one thing I do remember.
Well, I mean, it shows you that things take time. Like, I'm not like, I've seen what happens with Geno Smith. He developed, and look at what kind of quarterback he is now. And 2 teams wrote him off. Jets and Giants.
That's true.
So if you guys want to give up on him, he goes to another team. Don't complain if he takes off. Just saying.
But yeah, overall today, like, obviously the running game wasn't there. I think there were a lot of factors. We'll see what it can look like next week. You're playing a team in the Miami Dolphins who obviously,
oh my Lord, if we don't
address some assets, but when you had the Colts blow them out today, there's absolutely no reason the Patriots shouldn't have more success. Like, that to me, next week for the run game isn't a test as much as it is gain momentum, gain some confidence, and start stringing things together.
Well, the Dolphins' defensive line is good. Like, it's just their secondary. Their secondary is kind of similar. No, their secondary is way worse. But their defensive line is. I don't want people to don't go jumping off the cliff. The defensive line for the Dolphins is actually just as good, if not better, than the Raiders' defensive line. So put that in perspective when we start running the football next week.
I'm trying to see.
They got Chop Robinson. They got was it Jalen Phillips? Don't they have Chubb as well?
Yeah, but like, Chubb's been dealing with injuries, and on top of that, Phillips had an ACL tear last year.
Matthew Judon's carcass.
Like, they're not the same. You got Judon, who isn't. It's Judon. I think he's decent, but he's more of a pass rusher in my mind than he is someone who stops the run. But I'm trying to see too how much. You know what? It's okay. We can save that for the preview. I was going to see how much yards they gave up today to Jonathan Taylor to back up my point, but we can do that, when we do our preview later on next week. But overall, running game, not what you want it to be. This is a team that's offensive identity. They want to run the ball first in order to open up the pass. And I think, like you said, when they have to play from behind, they're not going to do well. When this team can't run the football and is a one-dimensional passing offense, they're not going to do well. So getting the running game going is going to be absolutely pivotal. The way that I compared it last week when we did our preview for this game was, if the Patriots can get a run game going, then they can kind of be like the week 3 Jets when we played them last season, right? Like, the Jets were running the ball so well with Braylon Allen and Breece Hall that it opened up the pass because you were trying to stop the run. You were trying to compensate for the run, and it opened up the back end where you were able to start passing. That's how the Patriots want to run this offense. And when they can't run the football, everything just starts to break down. So they need to find a way to certainly be better at that. And they showed flashes of it this offseason. So let's see it start stringing together. The other thing I will say too is like, let's be a little bit more patient, right? Like, let's be patient with the run game because
please be patient. Jeez.
You can't practice the run game in training camp. You can only do with it what you will when the pads go on. And even then, it's not all that much. And then in the preseason where a lot of starters don't play. So they're still ironing out a lot of things with the run game. I'm not hitting the panic button with that just yet. But Rob, any thoughts on the offensive line before we move on to the defense?
Yeah, Will Campbell got cooked all game.
See,
boneheaded plays.
I didn't think Will Campbell mechanically was bad. Like, I didn't think it was like, oh, Will Campbell's beat. Oh, Will Campbell's beat. What's Will Campbell doing? But I felt like it was more so
mechanically from what perspective? Because he had guys running by him. Like, are you talking about how he sets himself up? Because he seemed like he had his feet in the concrete today.
I thought he wasn't perfect. Like when I say I didn't think it was a mechanical thing, I'm not saying he was perfectly mechanically sound and had no issues. But when I say that, I just mean more so like he wasn't getting beat left and right. He wasn't allowing Drake Maye.
No, I'm not saying that, but
like all this pressure was flooded over from the left side. But what I'm saying is that it was more mental for me. Like I felt like Will Campbell was more so beating Will Campbell than Kuntz was beating Will Campbell, because it was the false starts, it was the penalties, it was more so him fundamentally that he's usually so good at that today he wasn't. It was putting this team into third and long situations because of inopportune penalties that I thought Will Campbell stood out from a negative standpoint. Not saying every rep was great, but I didn't really think that his issues necessarily came with his play as much as they did, again, Will Campbell versus Will Campbell.
Do you think it's a timing issue? Because one of the things that was brought up in the offseason is that like he likes to kick out early, kind of like how Lane Johnson does with the Eagles, how he'll kick out a little bit early, kind of almost borderline false starting, so he can basically beat that defender. Do you think maybe his timing's off? Maybe because of the sack on May, and then he's like, oh crap, and then you've seen the false start. Do you think maybe it was a timing, or just like, okay, he's a rookie, he's a little bit flustered maybe?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, the rookie thing, because if you look at it, like, yeah, he played during the preseason, but he played like a drive or two in each game, and he was one of PFF's highest graded rookie offensive linemen from the preseason as a whole. So he's shown the potential, but he never had the opportunity since he transitioned to the NFL to play live against a defense that was not his own for an entirety of a game. And he said, I want to say it was during the in-stadium practice, that he was like, look, there's things that will work out for me in this league and things that will not. But he also said that this is the NFL. This is a very different league than college football. There's going to be things that work for me here that didn't work for me in college, and things that won't work for me here that did work for me in college. And he said right now, his priority is just trying to figure out what is going to work for him and what is not. And that's going to take some time. He's not going to figure that out in his first game. And I think that people do forget that the offensive line is not just about, okay, snap, block, but there's a lot of fundamentals that go into it and passing off those blocks. And let's also remember too, that Jared Wilson is also a rookie that is starting next to Will Campbell at left guard. So certainly not doing Will Campbell any help.
Left tackles generally take a little bit longer to figure it out. I just FYI to people, like they don't just come out and, I mean, he's not who the hell is a damn he's not Joe Alt. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. He's not. Joe Alt went to the right side, right? Well, regardless, just in tackle perspective, regardless,
did go to the right side, yeah.
It still takes time for these tackles to develop. So hopefully, I mean, it's his welcome to the NFL moment. He got it. Now all you can do is build off of it, right?
Essentially, yeah. So we just hope that he gets a little bit better. He's going to go up against harder competition, but Kuntz is still a good edge rusher. Like, this is a guy that had 8-9 sacks in 2023 before he got injured in the beginning of 2024 when he was starting to look really good. He has some of that power. He has some of that speed, more specifically, that Campbell has struggled with. And I thought for the most part, it definitely could have been a lot worse, but certainly a work in progress. But Rob, let's transition on over to the defensive side of the football. Again, you look at that opening drive, 26 yards on the first play to Brock Bowers, and then like 11-yard run to Ashton Jency on the next play there. They were killing the Patriots with splash plays, but then Jalen Hawkins gets the interception. After that, for the remainder of the first half, the Patriots defense, I thought, was looking really, really good. There were even conversations we were having in the first half where we were like, okay, if we're going to play this good on defense, maybe we'll be okay if Gonzo needs to miss a couple more games. Like, Gonzo doesn't need to rush back if this is how the defense is going to perform. Carlton Davis looked good. Alex Austin looked really, really good. And that was going up against guys like Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, the number one weapons. But then in the second half of football, that's when Geno Smith just really started to put on an absolute clinic. Like I said, the defense in the first half, they get 3 sacks. Then in the second half, they only get 1. Rob, let's just start off here with the secondary. Let's start off with what the roughest part about this team is first, and then we'll go into what I thought was promising with the defensive line and the pass rush. What do you think happened with this team? Where they go from the first half looking like, okay, it's not great, but as the game was going on, it felt like they were starting to figure things out. You come out of halftime, Pete Carroll made adjustments, and then this offense just exploded this Patriots secondary.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I couldn't make heads or tails why that happened. They went from like locking everything up, but it seemed like whatever they found success with on that first drive, they kind of drifted back to that. As far that's just how I see it. Or maybe is this how much run did Carlton Davis get in the offseason? Like, maybe he's still shaking off rust. Maybe that's just my perspective on it. Like, I think Alex Austin was phenomenal today. We might have another cornerback 1, by the way, and it's a problem because he's on a 1-year deal. But Carlton Davis, how much run did he get in this offseason? He was on vacation. We heard things about him being possibly injured. And now you show up for about a quarter. And then I'm not saying that he's one of the best man coverage cornerbacks in football last year. Top 5 according to PFF. But he was not getting play. He was off doing vacation things, and he was possibly injured. So there you go. Maybe that was it. Because he's our cornerback 1 at that point, right?
I look at Carlton Davis, and I think you hit a really good point about him being injured, and maybe he's still coming back. He looked good in the beginning of the game. I thought he had good reps against Brock Bowers. I thought he had good reps against Jacoby Myers. But then the third quarter and the fourth quarter came along, and he started to look a little bit more rusty. The play that's just engraved into my mind that I don't know how I'm going to forget this all season is that you have a cornerback, a veteran cornerback in Carlton Davis who has regular season,
Thornton,
postseason experience, the Super Bowl, and on 4th down, the Raiders go for it. And you have Carlton Davis looking up into the air, just trying to figure out where in God's name the ball went. Dante Thornton is like 5-10 yards away from him and makes a catch. A rookie receiver who is a mid-round pick beat a veteran cornerback who the Patriots gave good money to this offseason as a veteran cornerback. You cannot make plays like that against a rookie in those crucial moments. If it was against Brock Bowers or Jacoby Myers in a contested situation, it is what it is. But that type of play, you're a veteran. You know that you need to be better. You cannot let up plays like that again to a rookie. Just blew my mind. It wasn't anything special about Thornton. It wasn't anything special. Well, it was a good throw by Geno Smith, just given where he was on the field and contorting his body.
That was a really good throw.
But as for Thornton, he really didn't do anything special. And Carlton Davis just had to be better. Just had to be. I mean, I think what's frustrating just about the defense as a whole for me, Rob, is that when I look at this team, and I want to make sure I back this up.
There was too many back-breaking plays. Like, there was like too. I lost track of how many chunk plays there were. When I mean chunk, I mean like 20 plus yard.
Yep.
Like, those are back-breaking, especially when you're like just about like a lot of these happen on 3rd down too. And I'm like, bro, you guys can't do this. And what's funny is some of them were like on 3rd and 2. It's like, they're not even trying to get the 2 yards on you guys.
There were times where it was 3rd and 20. 3rd and 20, and you're like, okay, well, there's
no
way
Lord.
We're going to convert on a 3rd and 20. The Patriots can't convert on a 3rd and 10. There's no way they convert on a 3rd and 20. What does Geno Smith do? You know they're going to pass here.
He was throwing in just like a prayer. And I'm like, God, man, please don't let this be completed.
And it's just a wide open guy down the field. I mean, Geno Smith, again, 24 for 34, 362 yards.
Let's give Geno Smith
average. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 102.8 passer rating.
Let's give Geno Smith a little bit more credit. I'm not saying he's not a bad quarterback, but he's very, very accurate. 75% completion percentage against us last year, 70% this year against us. The guy's accurate.
The thing, though, Rob, is that he's hitting these like wide open guys deep down the field to where it's like it's not even crazy accuracy and just good ball placement. It's just
he's known to be accurate he's known to be accurate anyways. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not surprised that he makes these plays. I mean, like, that's the biggest thing, man. Once you give someone a little confidence, you have a coach that believes in you. You could see what happens with Geno Smith. Pete Carroll believed in him. That's why this fan base, please, for the love of God, don't badger May, because you'll get a situation like Mac Jones, where everybody and their mother were clamoring for Bailey Zappi and all these other things. And what that did was destroy his confidence. I'm not saying Mac Jones was anything special to begin with. I'm just saying, if we know what the potential of May is. So let's not destroy his confidence, please. Because look what happens when you do believe in somebody. Geno Smith. Hell, Tua. When Mike McDaniels first went to their team, he was lighting it up, man. So all it takes is just to have a little confidence in him a little bit.
What obsessed me about the defense is that you went into this game saying you can't let this guy. You cannot let this guy take over the game for you.
We said
this is the one guy you need to take away. We said, Rob, if you have Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton, Jack Besh, if one of those guys just goes off and they win the game for you, like, wow, tip your cap, good job.
We said limit Bowers, right?
The last thing you can do is allow Brock Bowers or Jacoby Myers to take over this game. What happened? They were the leading receivers for the for the Raiders today. Brock Bowers, that's how angry I am. Brock Bowers, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 103 yards, 20.6 yards on average for a tight end, long catch of 38 yards. Jacoby Myers.
To be fair, he's the best tight end in football.
8 receptions, 97 yards for Jacoby Myers, 12.1 yards on average, long catch of 24. The 2 guys we said, Rob, you can't let them take over. What happened? They allowed them to lead receiving yards, almost both yards.
You know what was the kicker? We got done saying in the pregame that, like, Jacoby Myers is going to catch the football and fall over. He did the complete opposite. It's like he was listening to this podcast here, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fall over. I'm going to run a couple, like, 15 more yards.
Because how many times were they trying to tackle him by the strings of his shirt?
Literally, the string. His shirt was doing looks like something out of Fantastic Four.
We're literally tackling. Well, I say we have as if I'm on the field, but they were tackling with their fingertips. They were literally crabbing, not grabbing, but they were crabbing Jacoby Myers like this. Like, oh, can we get him? Tackle him. Fundamentals. Square your hips. Go down low, get leverage, tackle from the bottom up. What are we doing? You don't tackle with your fingertips. And this is what we were suffering all game long. I can't wait till the advanced metrics come out.
Oh, God, it's going to be brutal.
I can attack whatever cornerback or safety it was that was allowing these guys to just go off. And it was really like they had their moments in the first half, but it was really in the second half.
You got to play Little Mermaid in the background while you're doing it.
In the second half that we were seeing these things, Rob. It's just like it's like what happened with putting Carlton Davis and transitioning Alex Austin onto Brock Bowers. Why do we have a safety on Brock Bowers right now? Rob, we said in our pregame, don't put a safety on Brock Bowers. That's not going to go well.
I mean, Hawkins had a decent game, but there was plenty of times where he got burned, like, so badly.
Because he's not a guy that can line up against tight ends. He is a guy that is a deep safety and a deep safety only. If you got rid of Jabril Peppers and you don't want to play Kyle Duggar, just to put a free safety, journeyman safety on Brock Bowers, the best tight end in the league, I don't think I can help you.
There was one play where I saw Marcus Jones on Brock Bowers. It's like, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, like, why are you putting a 5'8" cornerback on a 6'5" tight end who's the best in the league?
Was it a miscommunication, or was he really lined up on him? Because if he was really lined up on him, that's like malpractice.
I do
Like
think it was a miscommunication because, like,
okay,
they did make
okay.
transitions. The Raiders did make their transitions on and kind of key things up differently offensively to where they were like, all right, Brock Bowers isn't getting the ball in the majority of this first half. How do we get him the ball? They found strategic ways to where the Patriots cornerbacks or defensive backs, I should say, were supposed to pass things off, but based off of how they were strategically running the routes, things got a little bit miscommunicated, and so they got Brock Bowers on favorable one-on-one matchups. That was just a good job, to be honest with you, on Chip Kelly. But, like, still, if you're the Patriots, you got to adjust a little bit better to that and find ways to keep.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Even with Christian Gonzalez out, we've heard top five defense with this defense for like God knows how many months.
I still think Gonzo could have shut down Brock Bowers and shut down respectively. But like, if you look at Patrick Surtain,
oh no, he would have shut him down. He would have.
Like, I think like Patrick Surtain limited Brock Bowers like 30 yards last year. I think Gonzo could have limited Brock Bowers. I feel confident in that.
No, 100%. We know who Christian Gonzalez is. Maybe he would have done even better than Patrick Surtain.
Big shout out to Patriots 92 for a massive donation of $20, man. Huge donation, man. Shout out Patriots 92. Means the world to me, man. You said, as a reminder, the last time the Patriots scored 30 points in a game was October 16th of 2022, week 6 against the Browns. That was Bailey Zappi at quarterback. I remember that game. That has to change at some point, right? Yeah, because this
no
team is
way
not going to win.
Are you serious?
Put up 20 points. If you can't put up even 20 points, and that's rare, let alone putting up 30 points, you're not going to win football games. What happens when you play the Bills, the Ravens, the Detroit Lions? When you play teams like that, they are going, the Bengals late into the season, those are teams that will put up 30 on your ass.
I think you got to get at least 26, man.
You'll have to put up at least 30 just to stay in the game. So if this team can't even have the ability to get to 20 points, yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. You want to know what's crazy too? Is Belichick wanted to keep Matt Patricia after 2022. He saw that game and he was like, we can get rid of him. Okay, we put up 30 points that one game with a backup quarterback, so we got to keep Patricia.
I don't know. That's a good grab, Patriots 92 since 2022. That's crazy.
He's right. I did check that.
Is he? Oh my God, that's so bad.
That's correct.
That's so bad.
At some point, if we're not counting preseason, at some point, this offense has to peak a game.
We're definitely not counting preseason
because if you think that you are going to play against some of these top echelon teams and you're going to be a real threat in the postseason and be a true contender, you don't need the ability to reach 30 points. You need the ability to reach 40 points. So if this team can't even get to 30, they're never going to be a true contender. They're never going to be a true contender until they can be an offense that we think, if they needed to get to 30 points, they could do so.
I think we should play a little bit more reckless next game. Screw it. Throw caution to the wind. Let May sling it. I honestly, at this point, I don't care. Like we saw what cautious got us, and it's gonna be hot, by the way. So
I think there's a difference between too vanilla and then airing it out too much. And then I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm not saying go like.
well,
no, because it is a fair point because they were way too vanilla. But then you also don't want to push the ball down the field too much, and now it's like, well, okay, Drake Maye is Pop Douglas wide open down the field, but he overshoots him, and now it's tipped and intercepted. Like, how many times did you see the ball tipped today?
I'm just curious where we're at in terms of the bucket to cup ratio, in terms of May's playbook, right? Because that's what he's doing, right? He said that on the Games with Names podcast. He said that he started with a cup and it becomes a bucket. Like, where are we at? Are we at like a cereal bowl right now? Like, because I want to know what we can do with this offense.
Yeah, that's fair. Man, shout out to our girl Brooke, who's in the chat, who says, shout out to PG and Rob, plus the mods on to Miami. You got it, Brooke. We're on to Miami. That is exactly.
Love you, Brooke. She's awesome, man.
Or, Brooke, I call her the queen of the channel. Brooke is the queen of Patriots Global here.
Hey, don't be taking my followers, bro.
Well, I don't know, Rob. You got competition now, so.
Oh, damn.
It's me
I'm being replaced.
We're like the collaboration on Instagram. That's like us, but like real life.
Yeah.
Think about it.
PG's my dude.
Brooke, as Bill Belichick would famously say,
We're on to Cincinnati.
we're on Cincinnati.
We're on to Miami.
Man. We're on to Miami. But Alfredo, he donated, so I have to say it, $2 donation.
Don't you dare.
He says
Don't you
Raiders.
dare. Don't you dare.
I'm not gonna do the whole.
Can you
the whole
mute your
spiel.
mic when you say it?
I'm not gonna do the whole. Yeah, here.
Guttural. It doesn't count. Go. Okay, good. There you go. You got it.
I technically did it. So, but like we said earlier, better team. You guys certainly deserve to win. But here's what I'll say to any Raiders fan watching. Boy, oh boy, if you guys go out and
the potential with that team is crazy.
Now bend over for the Chiefs. I'm gonna be mad at you guys. I'm fine with you beating us as long as you go and you beat the Chiefs. That is all we ask for as Patriots fans, okay? That's all we ask. I think that's a fair trade-off. You guys let me know in the chat, but I think that's a fair trade-off. Awesome LA comes in here. My boy LaSalle from the AFC East Roundtable says, hey, both lost our games, but at least we're not the Dolphins. At least we're not the Dolphins. That is right, LaSalle.
Let's not go too far because let's not say that yet because we got them next week because let's not get cocky.
Yeah, right. Last time we're getting cocky, and then it's just like we get blown out. Next week.
That's why we're being humble. Better thing to do this year. Humble approach.
I don't even know what my predictions are going to be for that game because, like,
oh my god!
Them, but like, also the Dolphins and Tua they always find a way to beat the Patriots, and until we beat
7-0,
until we find a way to beat them, I can't like pick us to win, right? Like, I just feel like that.
No, you definitely can, but you just have to kind of make the score almost like borderline game-winning field goal.
Yeah, but if I'm also not right, then it's gonna be like this guy over here.
Yeah, but like so slow money don't make money. You gotta take risks, man.
Fair. But you know what? That is also a great point, LaSalle, and I did point that out on Twitter. I tweeted out, Patriots might have lost today, but at the very least, Jets lost, Dolphins lost. Now we just need the Bills to lose to the Ravens, and you know what? The
listen,
loss technically didn't matter.
The Ravens
beat them in the regular season last year, so it's possible that no team in the AFC East wins a game, which would be big for the Patriots to get an in-division win next week if they're going to somehow take this division. Well, I don't want to say take the division because let's be realistic, but if they're going to finish second in the division.
I mean, anything's possible, man. We saw what happened with the Patriots in 2001.
Games tonight, man. Games tonight. And I'm going to be watching that closely. I took the Ravens to win. So
they were 5-11.
I'm just over 500 on my takes for week one. So
that's awful. That's awful.
But Rob, what are your thoughts on how this Patriots defensive line performed? Because they have 4 total sacks on the day. You had Jalen Hawkins with a sack, which I will say, during Mike Vrabel's time with the Titans, they were one of the least blitzing teams in the league. Today, Terrell Williams did some really unique things. He was blitzing Robert Spillane. He did a cornerback blitz with Carlton Davis, which unfortunately, Carlton Davis was covering Jacoby Myers, gets off of him to blitz, and it's just an easy first down. But we also saw the safety blitz with Jalen Hawkins late into the game, and that one did get home on third down. So I like some of the unique things I'm seeing from Terrell Williams. He told us that they were going to be aggressive, that they were going to play fast and athletic, and I think that's exactly what they did today, at least up front. You had Harold Landry come in with 2.5 sacks, 2.5 sacks today.
Yep.
On top of that, he also had 3 tackles for loss and 5 total tackles. You also had Caleb on Chason. He had half a sack today, too, against his old team, right? He was that
was a collaboration sack with Harold Landry.
Team captain of the week. But just overall, what were your thoughts of this pass rush? Because I thought from the edge rushers,
I love it.
Barmore and Williams had really good moments, too. Some inconsistencies, but for the most part, for a team that was last in the league in pressure last year and last in the league in sacks, definitely an improvement.
Oh, man, dude, I loved it. Outside of that, like, that all-out blitz that we did, but that's not obviously the D-line's fault, but the D-line, man, they can be, I think they can be scary because Harold Landry, this is a guy that can get to the quarterback. I don't know why everybody sleeps on him. He had 9 sacks last year. This guy can get to the quarterback. He's always been known to get to the quarterback. He's got that ghost move that he does that is pretty damn cool. Kind of looks like he's gonna swim, but he goes underneath the offensive lineman. And he got home a lot. Not only did he get home, I saw Robert Spillane in the backfield quite a bit too.
Yeah, they blitzed him more than I thought they were going to.
I just think that like the D line, if I had to give them a grade, it was like an A minus. Like they did phenomenal. And as a totality, that one freaking all out blitz pissed me the hell off.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Shout out to Alfredo, who says, if there's anyone that wants to destroy the Chiefs, it's me and Raiders fans. Hey, I get it. You almost did it last year. The Chargers did it on Friday, so do the world a favor. Don't even knock them down to second place. I want to see them in third or fourth in the West this year, okay?
I want to see them in last too, but we know the refs are going to come in at some point in time.
They didn't save them in Brazil, man. It's those American refs, let me tell you. That's why. The currency was different. Something didn't work out.
I don't know, man. He shoulder charged the Chargers defender, and he was slowing up. We know how Patrick Mahomes goes. Fraud.
That's fair. But I did
hate
think,
him.
too, that I think the big question for this season on the D-line was what would that combination of Milton Williams and Christian Barmore look like? And I know that the D-line bought out today, and there's some people who are like, yeah, but you didn't have Barmore, Milton Williams have a sack. Like you're paying them $26 million and Barmore $25 million.
The interior.
But they are the guys that are allowing Kayvon Chaisson and Harold Landry to get those one-on-one matchups. I told you guys when they signed Landry, he's not a guy that is going to get double teams and beat double teams. This is not what he is at this point in his career. He is a cleanup guy. He is the cleanup specialist. In fact, we are going to call him. You heard it here now, Rob, okay? I'm coining this. Harold Landry's nickname, like Deron Harmon was the closer, we are calling Harold Landry Mr. Clean because he's coming in to clean up the duties, the pass rush from Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Kayvon Chaisson on the other side. Because what they're doing is that Barmore and Williams, they're applying the pressure on the interior of the defensive line, which is flushing opposing quarterbacks to the outside, which allows Landry to come up and make those plays. So Mr. Clean himself, Harold Landry, balled out today. He's going to be a guy that has double-digit sacks. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about that. And he was asked about the process of reuniting with Vrabel and coming to the Patriots. And he said, when I found out that I was being released by the Titans, I knew I was going to the New England Patriots. There was no doubt about it. And it looks like they're finally utilizing him the way that allowed him to thrive during Vrabel's tenure with the Titans.
It's not even just that. With Christian Barmore and Milton Williams, that limited the rushing attack. Like, I'm not saying it was entirely the reason, but you couldn't rush up the middle on us. Ashton Genty was limited to 2 yards of carry. Like there's a reason because he had to bounce it outside. You couldn't go through the middle on us. I don't think. Did you see one play where they went through us on the middle and got something other than I guess the touchdown that basically Ashton Genty had to contort his body.
He could have been stopped. He contorted his body and dove into the end zone.
That was just an athletic play.
Yeah.
But other than that, like what did they really do through the middle?
Yeah, they didn't do much. I mean, even then, like, Christian Barmore had moments where he was stopping Genty in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. I mean, there were questions on, can Barmore thrive in run defense and not just as a pass rusher? Can Milton Williams do that? And there's going to be, obviously, much tougher matchups, but I do feel like, for the most part, I was impressed with what I saw from those big interior defensive linemen for the Patriots in run defense. Trying to figure out, too, did Barmore have a tackle for loss today? You had Craig Woodson, also, by the way, in the back of the secondary. He had 7 total tackles on the day. That was second for the Patriots. But he also had 2 tackles for loss, so he made his name heard a little bit in the run game. Harold Landry, 3 tackles for loss. Alex Austin, 1 tackle for loss. Hawkins, 2 tackles for loss. Milton Williams, 1 tackle for loss. Marcus Jones, a tackle for loss. And it doesn't look like Barmore had a tackle for loss, but there were just multiple times where he was stopping guys like in their tracks at the line of scrimmage.
There's plays that they're not going to show up on the stat sheet, just like Milton Williams. Don't box score watch because they definitely did their thing.
What were your thoughts on the linebacking core? Because obviously that was another area. Vrabel, former linebacker, they revamp it up a little bit. What were your thoughts?
I mean, I thought they did pretty decently. I mean, Robert Spillane, like I said, he was in the backfield quite a bit. It's just like he didn't get home. Like that's it. But eventually, those things are going to start figuring themselves out. So, like, I thought our linebacker and core did decent. I'm not going to say they did great, like good or great, but they decent, just about average.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do think that Robert Spillane a couple of times did take the wrong hole. He shot the gap wrong a couple of
I mean,
times.
like the one where he kind of missed the was it Genty that basically
On, I want to say like third down.
Yeah, if he would have, I think he went to Gino's left, like more towards the left, and if he would have hit that hole, he would have blown Genty up in the backfield.
And went to the right, it wouldn't have been a first down, and the Patriots would have gotten the ball back. So
it happens.
It wasn't perfect, but again, stuff like that will happen. Christian Ellis had one bad coverage rep late into the game. It was on third down, and
I thought Ellis played pretty well.
I think it was on Brock Bowers. It was on Brock Bowers in the fourth quarter. I believe it was on third down, and he's just not paying attention. Bowers is behind him and just makes a play. So again, I thought that could have been a little bit better, but Christian Ellis was all around the football today. Also led the Patriots in tackles with 8 of them for whatever that's worth. So I didn't think the linebacker core was terrible, but you know,
they were good.
Did they elevate the game?
No. They did. Well, Spillane definitely disrupted. They disrupted
at times, but outside of that, you know, not a crazy game. I'll be curious to see though, because one guy we know plays aggressive is Jelani Tavai. So when he can come back, is he somebody that they put out there? Because
I don't know, man.
Why not great in coverage, but
he looks lost a lot.
Who, Tavai?
Yes,
but we haven't seen him in the defense. In this,
I don't know, man. I don't know. Tavai, he's one of the guys that like I didn't want to keep around, to be honest with you. And last year was definitely a reason because he just looked. He went from looking pretty damn good in like the Belichick defense to like there were so many times last year where he just looked completely lost, especially in coverage. Maybe he's not meant to be anyone but like maybe lined up on closer to the line of scrimmage, because if you have to drop him in coverage, I'm scared.
That's fair. So, I mean, look, obviously, Jelani Tavai, not a guy that we expect to fit the defense like a great mold, but I still think there could be a role for him, and they obviously kept him around for a reason. So we'll see. But, Rob, I do want to ask you one more question, and that is about the kicker situation for the New England Patriots, because obviously Andy Morales does miss a kick today, which could have been different for this game. I'm not saying they would have won or anything. Or they
but it would have been like instead of going for the field goal.
You have 7 now. They have to get.
Yeah, exactly. Look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. This guy scares me a little bit. He's supposed to be the best. 40. I don't care. He's from Miami. They don't really deal with the conditions like that, like we do. Like, what happens when it gets colder out? What happens when it snows, man? This guy can't kick. He misses quite a bit, and I'm pulling for him, man. I hope he figures it out. I mean, we got like a Chad Ryland situation. I don't want that. So I hope he figures it out, because, man, it feels like anytime we need to kick, during even I guess the only tape that we have to go off is the preseason, but like the guy was kicking, missing routinely. Is he in his own head? Does he have to change up his whole like routine, or maybe he is changing up his routine and that's what's messing him up? But regardless, like you said, I mean, if he would have made that first field goal, then we would have been thinking about, okay, instead of us going for the field goal with like, what was it, like 32 seconds left, we would have tried to be pushing for the touchdown. And we were kind of backed into a corner in that situation. So I'm pulling for him, man, because we have no choice. We let go of, what was it, Ramo? I forget his name. Romo.
I do believe that he is still a free agent. So for me,
I don't know how, man. Romo did better
for a reason. They could have a kicker on the practice squad. They have Parker Romo on the practice squad. They could have kept Parker Romo as a backup on the active roster. They chose not to do so. They want to make sure that he feels confident in Andy Borregales as much as possible. They don't want to mess with that as much as possible and feel like somebody's on the back of his heels, which is very important.
I agree with that.
We thought that Chad Ryland, Rob. We thought that Chad Ryland was done, and then he looked good for a new organization. So I think they're going to be more patient with him. But if he starts to become a liability, maybe in a few weeks, then they add John Parker Romo or somebody back on the team.
Here's my thing, man. Competition should breed, like, iron sharpens iron, brother. Like, I don't, at the end of the day, it's a what have you done for me lately? The reason what made Tom Brady successful is he went out there and tried to, I hate to keep on going back to Tom Brady, but he's like the ultimate example of like a guy. He never went out there expecting that he was going to have the job. So he would always try to prove it. So like for me, like, at least keep Romo on the damn practice squad, because like for me, I would put him in the doghouse if he keeps kicking. Like, the guy's missing crucial. That was a crucial field goal, because when it came down to it, we had to kick a field goal, because if we didn't, we were down by 10 points. If we would have been down by 7. I don't know, man. Like, if you're scared because someone's over your shoulder, like this is a competitive league. You have to be able to overcome the adversity. I want people that are dogs, bro. I don't want you to be scared or your feelings hurt because someone is on the roster. You should be scared. You should be playing like you have someone ready to take your job. Brady said that all the damn time, bro.
Yeah.
So me personally, I would have kept Rome on the practice squad at the very least.
Yeah, we'll certainly see how things go. Andy Borgales really at the end of training camp and in the preseason started to scare us. John Parker Romo was the better guy when it was all said and done, but obviously they used a draft pick on him. He looked like absolute money during spring practices, and then something happened. So they certainly need to figure out what that is. And the last thing you want, by the way, if you're a Patriots fan, do not be commenting on Andy Borgales' Instagram telling him he sucks, because if you're doing that, you are absolutely killing yourself and the success of this team. Yes, because if he reads the comments or he sees anything like that, I know he's going to face adversity as a football player, technical celebrity. But
I mean, we're in a social media type age.
Being a kicker is all mental. So if he loses his confidence, and we as fans do contribute to that, if he loses his confidence, he's screwed. So just obviously take that as you will. But let's go ahead and let's transition into these Patreon members before we log off for today. Starting off here with SGT Moonshine. What's going on, SGT Moonshine?
Hey, man. How's it going? How's it doing? We doing all right?
What's good?
Good, man. How are you?
It's trying to reel in this loss. I'm trying to remind myself it's just a week 1 start of the season, whole new team. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't sting a little bit.
Well, the Raiders have a brand new team too.
Yeah, they just I guess they just wanted it more. I guess that's all it really came down to.
I mean, yeah, they were the better team, and it's difficult because there's a lot of parallels between these teams, but then there's also a lot of differences between these teams. Like, they have, I don't want to say a true wide receiver 1, but they have like a guy who can be like your Walmart wide receiver 1, elite wide receiver 2. Jacoby put up 1,000 yards last year. You got Brock Bowers, the best tight end in the game. You used a first-round pick on Ashton Genty, a solid offensive line. I just think it came down to the fact that the Raiders had more offensively to put more points up on the board than the Patriots did. And in this league, it really just comes down to who can score the most points. Like, even the Bengals, like, they have a terrible defense, but they have an offense that can put up 40 points a game. And so even if their defense sucks and allows 30 points to an opponent, as long as they can score 40, it really doesn't matter. And unfortunately, the Patriots are in a situation where they just don't have an offense right now that can put up enough points. And their defense, you can't ask the defense to hold opposing teams to 3 or 7 points a game, which is, it kind of feels like that's what this team has wanted to do over the last few years. If you want to win in this league, you got to be able to put up points. That's just not what we are right now.
And I guess that's kind of why, kind of what I expected a little bit out of Josh McDaniels. I was expecting him to come in. I mean, I know he realized, on the quick game, something we kind of could use a little bit more, but I was expecting more of I was hoping to see, I don't know, some RPOs or maybe some little screen passes to get the ball upfield, to Kyle Williams, get him upfield, or maybe even throwing it to Chisholm out there, just see what he can do. I just feel like we weren't really. We were taking chances, but we stopped taking chances, kind of like how you were talking about earlier in the show, where we were getting the ball downfield, Drake Maye turns it over, and then we just got really passive with it.
I don't see Efton Chisholm. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I don't see Efton Chisholm getting playtime unless maybe an injury.
Yeah.
I seriously, I think that this is probably going to be a redshirt year for him. And I know it's going to suck for everybody to hear that, but guys, who are you subbing out?
I
Matt
was just saying, like,
Collins.
drawing up for like a play for like just like one little like
Yeah,
screen
but isn't he
pass.
still
Like,
recovering from injury, right? Yeah, no.
last I heard, it was questionable. There was never really a
Yeah, I'd rather
for
him
sure
kind
if
of
he
like
was.
recover, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Play the long
And
game.
I feel like I feel
Let
like
it out, man.
at this point, as long as Gonzalez is out, our secondary just doesn't exist. I feel like Gonzalez weaves a massive hole on this defense. If we are to not have him in this game coming up against Miami with receivers like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I really feel like the secondary just isn't going to keep up with them at all.
Gonzo owns
It scares
Tyreek
me.
too.
So I think our secondary is still damn good. Don't get me wrong. I think Carlton Davis is damn good. Here's my thing. What did I say in the pregame, Colby? What Carlton Davis is known for? He's a risk taker. He is going to take risks. And the problem is he took too many today and it came and bit him in the ass.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you could go look at the numbers. He's top 5 in man coverage according to PFF last year. So like he's a damn good corner. It's just that like you're gonna have to take your lumps because he's gonna give up big plays.
I'm not necessarily worried about Carlton Davis. I just think right now everyone's playing realistically a notch above where they should. Like Alex Austin, he could probably be a cornerback 2 for you if you need, but like realistically, cornerback 3 is more where you want him to. That's where he's going to play at his highest level.
I don't know, man. Alex Austin looks like a stud.
Carlton Davis at this point, I don't see him as a cornerback 1. I just think at this point he's a cornerback 2. He's playing at cornerback 1 today. And then Gonzo is one of the best cornerbacks in football easily because he can shadow any team's number 1 weapon, not number 1 receiver, number 1 weapon. If he has to play a wide receiver, if he has to play a tight end, if he has to go on the outside, if he has to line up in the slot, like Gonzo can line up anywhere, which is something that a lot of cornerbacks in this league cannot do. They're simply put
because of his speed, bro.
Yeah. So,
that and just that pure lockdown cornerback mentality. Like he just has that. He's not one of those quarterbacks that's like mouths off too much and gets cocky. He's that. What was that? Who was it that gave him that nickname in his rookie year? That what was it? Silent Assassin or something? I forget who it was that gave him that.
Was that Wise?
I can't remember who it was, but like he just brings that mentality in every single game. Like he is going to dominate.
Over him. He's got Stephon Gilmore.
He does.
Like, it's the same freaking player. Except for he could be better. Me. I think he could be better, though.
I will say the one thing that I am going to say that gives me a little more confidence with the way our pass rush looked in this game, with how Miami has played, I do feel like with our pass rush, we're going to be able to get Tua off balance. He's going to probably make some messed up throws.
Here's the thing, though, man. Matchups are different, man. Like Tua knows he can beat. Tua knows. I'm sorry for cutting you off, guys. I'm not trying to intentionally cut him off. Okay, so Tua, he owns us right now. There's no other way to put it, and that really burns a damn hole in my heart right now. But he's gonna be confident going into this next game, bro. And that's the thing. Like we can't go. Like matchups are different. It's not going to be the same game like the Colts went against them. So, like, let's hope that, like, Jonathan Taylor went off today. I didn't see why is it the reason. I got to go and study the tape for the Dolphins versus Colts game. So, why did the Dolphins get their asses blown out?
Well,
I remember seeing in the halftime, like Daniel Jones had like over 200 yards passing, I believe, and a touchdown or 2.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game, but Tua had like 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 100-some passing yards.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
He went like 12 for 23, I think.
What's their injuries looking like right now?
You could just like take Tyreek out at this point because like I feel like Tyreek is just mentally checked out for Miami. Be honest with you, like he's not dealing with a real injury, but like he just
make the phone call, Vrabel. Make the phone call. I'm joking. It would never happen anyways in division. They would never try.
No, yeah, it wouldn't. But that's
any other thoughts about how the Patriots performed today? Any of your other concerns?
Just hope that Drake Maye kind of gets a little bit better with some of his throws. Some of those other throws kind of concerned me a little bit. I kind of wanted to think like right now, maybe the ball was just a little bit too wet because of the mist or a little bit of the rain. I don't know. but it definitely seemed like it was a little more all over the place than it really should have been.
Geno Smith had to throw the same football, man. We can't make that excuse.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the weather and the climate does play an impact. There was a point where Drake Maye, he was actually on, it looked like he got strip sacked, but he actually just went back and to throw the ball, and the ball flew out of his hand, and thankfully Will Campbell was able to recover it. But SGT, man, we appreciate you for coming on, being a Patreon
appreciate
member,
you, brother.
Your thoughts. We definitely hope to see you next week, either on our game preview or on our post-game recap.
See you around, man.
See you later, brother.
Our guy. Let's bring on our final Patreon member here for the night. You guys know him. You guys love him. Well, let's bring on DTN. What's going on, DTN?
Nothing much, Colby. Thank goodness Saved by the Bell, because I thought that I would not join this live stream because my phone was about to die. So I was worried that I might have
18% right now.
Yeah, but yeah, I was on so many errands. I did a street walk. I went out to dinner, and as I was watching the game, I saw. Here's what I'm concerned. What I'm more upset about. It's not about the game. I'm just more upset of how there are so many Patriots fans who are so pessimistic about game
brother,
one.
like, welcome to Colby's comment section right now. I'm reading. Like, God,
Dude.
they're just like, it's terrible. Like they it's just like there's no in between. It's one extreme or another. It's like fire. Someone even put little fire Mike Vrabel, or why isn't Mike Vrabel getting the same attention or smoke that Mayo got? It's like because Mayo was a complete idiot.
Yeah, I feared that this game could potentially be a trap game. Like, I want the Patriots to win, not gonna lie.
Is it really though? Is it really though? Because they had kind of a similar situation to us. So it's like, I don't know if it was a trap game per se. It was just more just like, okay, it's a teams of not mirroring play style, but mirroring situations that had to just match up against each other. So it's like, it was kind of a measuring stick that like where we're at. It's like, okay, can we beat them at least? Because what did Vrabel say? We got to beat up on the bad teams. Like, we're still a bad team. Like, we're still in a rebuild, people. Like, this is not something that's going to happen overnight. But go ahead, DTN.
Yeah, I was like to say, after free agency and over the offseason, people are like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl, make to the playoffs. Can people realize that we're in a process of a rebuild? Can we realize that not all teams are going to start off good? Like last year when we beat the Cincinnati Bengals, I thought like, oh, the Patriots are going to make the playoffs. But then guess what happened throughout the rest of the season? It got really bad, and then you know the rest of the story. With this year, I expect, and I know, Rob, you alluded to this in one of the live streams before, I expect to see progression besides wins and losses. And it seemed like during the third quarter, it's just basically the team gave up after an interception. And I did not like the mentality. And I'm thinking to myself, where is the passion from this team? Like I get if the offense didn't do well, but there was lack of passion. There was lack of, I don't know. It was mistake after mistake.
Focus too, apparently from Keishan Butte. That's pretty alarming. That's pretty alarming that Keishan Butte said that. But like, man, we can't go. This cannot be the like, we heard too much about the potential of this team in the offseason. This cannot be how we like Keishan Butte. Maybe it's good that Keishan Butte said that. Maybe it's good that he put it out there, because he seemed, I'm gonna be honest with you, Colby, listening to it, he's definitely matured. Like, he's definitely matured. How he went about how he said it, it didn't come off like he was just like calling people out. It was just more just like, okay, guys, like, we really should have kind of stayed focused.
Also, the
training camp.
The one thing I need fans to stop talking about is fans need to stop talking about the negatives way too much and at least focus some of the positives. At least we apply pressure on defense.
They're not going to, dude. They're not going to, dude. Like, welcome to Boston sports, brother. Like,
yep.
or maybe that's just sports in general. Like, everybody, like, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, what CJ Stroud and the Texans did, what Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders did, that is not the standard. That's an anomaly. Like, the fact that it happened back-to-back years, that's an anomaly. We got to stop thinking that, like, true rebuilds take time. This year's what you're supposed to see is growth. You're not supposed to see playoffs. So, like, I don't know how many people, there were some people that were in my comment section. Oh yeah, we're getting 12 wins. What? I mean, it can still happen. It's very possible. Like anything can happen. Obviously, you could win a Super Bowl. I mean, Brady and the Patriots when they were 5-11 won a Super Bowl. But we got to stop comparing our situation to like the Commanders and the Texans, the years that they were successful, because every team is different. Like these things take time.
Yeah. And good thing I'm on the Patreon page, because I was thinking of like I could create a segment that Colby, I think you mentioned this back in like week 12 against Miami. I was like coming up with like three winners and 3 losers for the game, and oh my goodness, I couldn't even find. And I had some winners, but losers, oh my goodness, I wish that it could be players, coaches, or whatever. But so for starters, my 3 winners definitely is going to be Harold Landry, definitely is going to be Kayshon Boutte, and it's definitely going to be Jalen Hawkins, because at least after that first drive, he at least bounced back with the interception, so I was pleased about that. But when it comes to the losers, one is it's going to have to be Ramondre Stevenson, because I don't know if he can produce that. I don't know if he can produce anything, let alone he didn't even fumble the ball or whatnot. But still, at the same time, it would have been nice to see Ramondre Stevenson producing something, so it would be nice. My second loser is definitely going to be the play calling, because this is like mashed vanilla meat potatoes with Josh McDaniels play calling. Like, what were we thinking when it comes to like the offensive scheme? So that I did not understand with the play calling. And I know Rob was at one point was when we were trying to find out like coaches of who should be the offensive coordinator. I know Rob did say that you were not a huge fan of McDaniel's offensive scheme. So
what did I say? I was like, he's predictable. So that's why when I heard that he went to do like college football, I was like, all right, maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But for me, it just looks like the same offense to me. It really does. Nothing different.
Exactly. Also, my final loser, and I'm going to have to say, and I can't think of also, Andreas Bergalis needs to do better. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna like blame him entirely, because after the first field goal miss, I was like, "Oh, are you kidding me? Are we gonna get another Chad Ryland situation?" But as long as we like produce and bounce back and produce as many field goals as we can, we should be fine. And he could be more like not more of like an Adam Vinatieri or a Steven Gostkowski, but more of like a Nick Folk for us, because I'm sick and tired of hearing people saying, "Oh, Andres Bergalis is going to be the next Todd Ryland," or "We should have got Parker Romo." Like, it takes time, people. It's not like everything's going to happen in one sitting. So I don't understand this kind of mentality, but this is life as a Boston sports fan. And you know that I had also, interesting fact, I had Raiders fans when I did my first episode of the Patriots, Patriots Mayflower Voyage on my NE Patriots Talk channel. I had Raiders fans going at me saying that, "Oh, Raiders are going to win." Well, the Raiders did win, but that was because I wouldn't say we did beat ourselves, but that was because we didn't like adapt.
I don't know if we beat ourselves. I think Geno Smith served up an ass whooping again. We didn't beat ourselves. Like, they really had control of like the whole game. Let's be honest with ourselves. So we can't use that as a cop out.
I don't know, Rob. I do think that we did have times to win the game, and I think that they were the better team. But I also think that we certainly did have opportunities where we could have won the game, or we could have came back, and then we also didn't. So I definitely think that it was a little bit of both, for sure. But DTM,
every team had.
Yeah, it's true. Every team does have that. But DTM, brother, we appreciate you for coming on the show, man.
Appreciate you,
DTM. We hope to see you on our pregame for, Patriots versus Dolphins. So,
I'm definitely down for that. No classes. And if you guys want to see more from my take than just me being on the Patreon page, go see episode 2 of Patriots Mayflower Voyage, where I will talk about the postgame recap with a couple of buddies from my Patriots clubhouse. And we will definitely go out of rant. We'll definitely just talk some regular old football. And I wish if I wasn't walking or having dinner, I would have been taking notes right now doing this. But man,
DTN, you're like an encyclopedia. You don't sell yourself short. Like you're teaching us some things here.
But I'm really excited for next week against Miami. I cannot wait to see for Wednesday's AFC's roundtable because oh my gosh, TD is in trouble after he said 15-2 when the Colts had a massive whooping against Miami.
Anything's possible.
Well,
hey,
we'll see.
To you, DTN, man. We appreciate you.
DTN, you have a good night, brother.
Our guy, DTN, our guy, your guy, DTN. We'll see him later this week when we preview.
This guy keeps on improving, man. Like his ability to talk on the mic. He needs to just center himself a little bit. He's kind of pulling a page out of my book where I just go on a freaking rant. Don't do that.
Sometimes it's hard not to. Sometimes you got so much to say. You're just like, shoot, I forgot the camera was in.
My brain just keeps going off that apparently.
Hey, it's better for it to go off than for it to not work at all. So
DTN, you're awesome, brother.
But guys, make sure you go ahead and you leave a big like on the video before we log off. One more thing I do want to let you guys know about is, for those who don't know, your boy has transitioned to TikTok, and I've been doing this for a little while now. Doing this for a little while. We started
killing the game.
To put together some pretty good videos, but the great thing is that we talk mostly Patriots on here, but I also talk about some of my overall generalized NFL thoughts and breaking news. So if you're like, wow, I love to hear Colby talk about the Patriots, you can go ahead and check me out on TikTok now. But if you're also like, wow, I love to know Colby's thoughts about his NFL weekly picks and some other topics around the league, I also make those here. So do your boy a favor, go ahead and follow me on TikTok. Really trying to get to 10,000 followers by the end of the 2025 season. So it would mean the world to me. Make sure you guys also go ahead and follow Rob on Instagram. I mean, he's the best out there when it comes to Instagram, no doubt about that. You see the handle right down there. That
trying to catch you on TikTok too, dude.
Where, hey man, maybe we have to work together. Maybe that's the problem. But make sure you guys go ahead and check out Rob on Instagram. Right there, you see the handle. Best Patriots content out there. Appreciate you guys for watching, kicking it with us for the New England Patriots. Unfortunate loss here, 20-13, week 1 at home against the Raiders. New England Patriots attention now on the Miami Dolphins as they will go ahead and play Miami in Miami here in week 2. Rob and I will be back later this week to preview the game. I got content dropping for you guys over the next few days also. But until next time, we appreciate you guys for watching. Rob, any last words?
16-1 is still on the table.
16-1, guys. That's it. It's just we're just
I'm joking.
We lost the first game, but now we're going undefeated the rest of the season. Go Pats, baby.